Let the patient be his own doctor. Part 2. This is an interview with Dr. Klaus Bielau from Graz by Paap from Logon. These many coercive measures adopted by the governments of the whole world can also represent a possibility for man to come to himself, so we can all come to silence, to rest. We can let go of this unbelievable life that is always pulsing just at the rim of burnout.
Hello and welcome wherever you are in the world. Logon is an online magazine of the spiritual school of the Golden Rosycross. We hope that our podcast will provide you with food for thought, inspiration for new questions and impulses in your research for new answers.
AP. We talk about awakening, and that is not something affecting one or two people, but humanity itself. Together with you, I would like to take a look at the crisis we are now facing worldwide and what is called the corona crisis. We live in a time of crisis, but I feel it is also about prompting man. Take a look where you are going. KB. Yes, absolutely. We know the word corona also as the corona solaris, the crown of the sun. When we have a solar eclipse, that is, when the moon is directly in front of the sun, and so the sun darkens, then we can see the solar winds around this shadow. These solar winds are called corona, sun crown. This can be seen as a symbolic expression for ourselves. Deep within us there is a kind of sun, and we are to wear its crown. And this crown of the sun then also shines from our minds. If everything goes well with us, it then radiates from us. It is an invisibly radiating sun that can spread over the world through us. And these many coercive measures adopted by the governments of the whole world can represent a possibility for man to come to himself, so we can all come to silence, to rest. We can let go of this unbelievable life that is always pulsing just at the rim of burnout. It can be seen as a borderline burnout in which actually great parts of humanity are driven by our civilization, by overproduction, violence against the animal kingdoms, against the plant kingdom, and now something suddenly comes up that says, stop. And that could be a little trick, a kind of joke of the universe. A little virus has to help humanity to slow down. The idea of infection by microbes and the like is a false doctrine, a pseudo-religious scientific superstition of modern times that has developed over the last 120 years or so. I believe that there is no such thing as contagion in the usual sense. Otherwise, there would be no life on our planet anymore. There are viruses, there are bacteria, and they are associated with diseases. In my opinion, from a reasonably consistent holistic point of view, all diseases, especially the acute ones, are nothing more than excretory processes. Cathars, as the ancients correctly said. In other words, purification processes. Microbes, the small life, are helpers in this. But apparently, All of this is precisely what is necessary in order for us to come back to ourselves, to become aware of ourselves. And we can ask ourselves the question, whom does it serve? In any case, it is good for nature. It serves nature. That is, when everything has come to a standstill, when no planes have flown, when the ships have stayed in port, when cars have been used to the bare minimum, after a few days, you have already noticed the kind of regeneration this has meant for our living space, for nature. The sky was clearer than ever. In Venice, fish swam around in the canals, and there were dolphins in the ports of the Adriatic. That is exactly what we can now become aware of, that the way we live goes against the whole planet. We are sick as human beings, as a collective, and so we make our planet sick. And those who have become a little more conscious actually enjoyed this time of lockdown, because suddenly a great calm and silence was felt all around. I suspect that now is the time for a new beginning, a time that has been put before people by all the great ones of the past decades and the last century, namely, a time of great change and a time of great opportunity for both the individual and the collective recovery. AP. At the beginning of the lockdown, we faced a state of less that many were happy to accept. Once much of the outside world had simply been reduced. And now the turn to this direction must actually come from ourselves. So now we have to achieve the freedom to deepen that which was given to us for a while in the beginning, after the outside had faded away. That is, that the spiritual aspect actually becomes the leader, and the outer man, as a quality of the soul, fits into this new order. KB. We might now experience the beginning of a process of recovery, and then it will probably continue in waves. You can imagine it this way. We were shut down for 3 months, and now what we have missed has built up and people are hectic again. Then there might come another phase where humanity will come down more and simply find a way back to the natural measure of things. In the outside world, health is the natural measure of all things. Our soul has to understand that all this is not accidental. We have to understand that all that is happening now can be seen as a phase of recovery for humanity. AP. Another Paracelsus quote. The highest reason for medicine is love. What can we imagine by that? KB. Love is the natural, the universal law of life. All the possible healing processes begin with this universal love. And love is joy, the beautiful spark of God's that can be born within our hearts. And it wants to be nothing more than a small flame that melts the wax of a candle. This wax is our soul, one could say. This wax can melt. It can be the food for the light. And that light, which is love, is the remedy. When we look at the trees, when we look at nature and experience the things around us, the many birds that are chirping, then we can feel that this is an expression of the continuously pulsating life that can only come from one force, and that power is the universal breath. Another word for it is love, universal, all-encompassing love. All healing processes are to be understood from this perspective. In this sense, it is very easy to understand what Paracelsus means when he states that the reason for medicine to exist is love. That is the deity, the cause of the medicine. AP. In this sense, the deity puts us again and again in the transformation process, and an expression of this could be that Paracelsus, and this is the last question now, has written on his gravestone, Vitam cum morte mutavit. He has changed life with death. Another short comment on this? KB. When the universal life begins to blossom in me, then I can discard the attribute. Then the body is removed like a heavy winter coat is taken off when entering a bright, friendly apartment. With Paracelsus's life, you could say that he put down his old heavy combat suit. He approached the last days of his life with great awareness. He knew about his departure. He knew that his mission was fulfilled, and he wrote his will a few days before in Salzburg, in Zum Weißen Ross, the white horse, in the presence of 7 witnesses, and then surrendered to his fate, which is believed to have been a violent death. But he knew that this had to be the case for the further fulfillment of the universal will.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you wish to support us in reaching more people, like our posts, rate us with 5 stars on iTunes, leave a positive comment where you can, or share our content on your social media.